Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to assemble a model kit. I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And I'm going to start things off by throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 Blue emote into the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes if you feel like being a lurker. You just want to lurk. You don't want to say shit. You can just lurk. That's also okay. It's a Saturday night, and I'm feeling like building a model kit. I should also mention I'm currently at 19 subscribers, and the goal is to get to 30, and I shut up about the number of subscribers I have when I hit 30, which is the goal. Lashbrick is here. Hello, Lashbrick. Happy to have you here. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I could adjust it to 25 and be happy, but basically, I gotta make sure I'm hitting my minimums. You know what I mean? Like, let me one quick here. I'm just gonna do this because I'm being silly about this, but like, yeah. All right. So let's see. So I need to put the math on there. Yeah. I mean, like, 25 subscribers will be great, but I'm going for 30. I think 30 is a good number to go for. We're at 19. We can get to 30. If you want to become a subscriber, you could. Maybe next week I'll pop a discount just to get the number moving. Maybe I'll do that. I can do that. I have slots available to do discounts for gifted subs. So I can maybe do that next week. I don't fucking know. I don't know. I do know that I'm working on this model kit. This is the Gundam, Narrative Gundam Master Grade. Is the B-Pax VerKa. So this is a premium Bandai kit. It comes with the Narrative Gundam Master Grade, and then also the backpack, the B-Pack that you can see in the photo above me, which is too big, and I'm going to make it smaller. That's too big. That's just too big. There, that's better. And that's got shuffled around here. And so I got to figure all this out. There we go. Okay. I'm figuring it all out. We're good. Hello. So I have most of the chest done here. I didn't panel line it, so I got to do that. And then this originally was the core fighter that we built, and then it transformed into what is basically like the chest and waist like combined, and it goes like this into another piece. And I transformed this off stream because I didn't know how to do it, so I watched a YouTube short of someone doing the transformation, which is great. But basically, it goes from like this, and some other things happen, but then I'm like, I want to make sure I do this properly, so I've now fucked this up. There we go. And then it goes like that, and then it goes like that. Yeah. So we're going to panel line this as the transformation, because I'm not going to keep it in as the core fighter. I'm going to keep it as like this piece here, and we're going to panel line this. But before we do any panel lining, we also have some of the arms done. We did a thing that I don't normally do. It was Thursday. It was late in the stream, and I made an executive decision, because I'm the executive of this, I guess. I wasn't going to work on the head. I skipped to work on the arms. I could have panel lined. I didn't. But I didn't want to do the head, because the head has, let me here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It has 4 stickers on it. And at 10:30, did I have to explain it to the board? Thankfully, we're not a publicly traded company, so the board are all figureheads that don't really need, they don't need exponential growth, I should say. They don't need growth, so they don't really bother me. They're mostly doing it to have their name attached to something, so they can say that they serve on several boards. But yeah, I made the decision that I wasn't going to panel line this thing because it had I wasn't going to build the head yet because it has so many stickers, and I didn't want to do it. But now we're going to do it because I am I'm ready to go. I am able to do it. So yeah, it's a new day. Oh, also, we'll get to that in a second. Also, hey, you may remember this from me working on the Zaku 2s that I had been building. Here is the final complete of this. After using liquid cement, these aren't going anywhere. These are all glued on with liquid cement, adhered to, and they're not moving. And I just thought I would share that because it's neat. This is a neat shield. I like this thing a lot. Just thought I'd share. Let's get this together here. So yeah, you may remember that last Saturday, during the stream, I talked about some releases. WWE does yearly releases. Basically, often, what they are doing is they are moving people up from their NXT brand, which is their developmental brand. They move people up. And then also, while they're moving people up, they get rid of people that are on the main roster to make room and also free up money. And yes, they are an incredibly rich company, but they are owned by people that want to make a lot more money. And then also, this is all rumor and speculation, there is a belief that in the back of their minds, TKO, the Endeavor, who own TKO, which is the UFC and the WWE together, TKO, the folks that run TKO, the Endeavor folks, were thinking that maybe someday they would just sell TKO to the Saudi Arabian government, the Prince's Fund. Now, is there any real thought about that? No, it's just from the moves they make, their general lack of caring about keeping an audience, moves to go off regular television to Netflix for a lot of money, but also that means they have less ad revenue because they can't provide numbers. Turns out, got to spend money to make money has a limit. Yes. And then also, they didn't make a lot of money when they bought UFC. They haven't made a lot of money about UFC, but WWE was run like a family business, aka poorly, for a number of years. So there's a lot of money floating around there that they can get rid of. So some of these layoffs were, this person costs us a lot of money, and they don't make us a lot of money, we don't think. Why are we paying this person so much money when we don't even use them on TV and we have apparently nothing for them? Which, is reasonable until you remember that it's not sports. It's not a slump season that they're having. The reason why this person isn't on TV is because you're not putting them on TV. Sometimes it could be injury, certainly, but for the most part, if someone is not there doing the thing because you don't have an idea for them, that's not their fault. You were willing to pay them a lot of money to be there. Why are you not willing to figure out what to do with them? So that's always rung pretty hollow to me. Your friend Pat has always felt pretty hollow. But at the end of the day, you can imagine that some people who were offered a lot of money to perhaps not renew with a company they once worked at or and were negotiating with. Maybe they were offered a lot of money. Or, well, we need to keep these people and they keep asking for more and more money. At a certain point, should we just stop saying yes to them or try to renegotiate? So a bunch of layoffs happened last week. So AEW employees, wrestlers, are independent contractors, right? They are not salaried employees. They are not on the books. So theoretically, when you say you're not working here anymore, a wrestler can just go somewhere else. Now, in order to prevent that from happening, especially in the days where wrestling was taped, right? AEW tapes Collision after Dynamite sometimes. If a AEW wrestler finished up on Wednesday while they recorded what they did on Saturday and then showed up on SmackDown on Friday, and then the next day they're still on AEW, that's weird, and AEW would hate that, right? They would hate that. Most stuff is live these days, so it's a little less different. But basically, the idea is a cool-off period. So in WWE's case, when you are released, they tell you, okay, we're going to pay you for the next 90 days. In the event NXT, they're developmental, it's 45 days. They say, we're going to pay you for 45 days. We're going to pay you for, so we'll do main roster. We're paying for you 90 days. It's like, 3 months of you being an employee. You are still considered under contract with us. So you can't go to places until your money, the deal expires. Now, wrestlers can and have in the past said, great, you let me go. I will not sign this document. I will not accept money. I am a free agent as of right now. I'm going to go immediately and book some indie dates. I'm going to go to Japan. I'm from another country and I don't fucking want to be here anymore. And so you have now granted me my release and I'm just going to leave. Some wrestlers take the money. It's guaranteed money, which in wrestling is tough. Maybe they don't think they immediately will get hired somewhere else. They don't have a backup plan. Maybe they're in NXT and just bought a house to live in Florida, in the Orlando area, to work for the WWE long term because they signed a 4-year contract. And they're like, well, I just fucking bought a house. So yeah, I'm going to work 45 days and take that money while I try to sell my fucking house. Or it could be that you are from a country outside the United States. And as long as you're being paid by the WWE, you're on a visa. That's good. You're on a work visa. And you can spend that 90 days trying to fucking figure your shit out. If it's TNA, is AEW going to hire you? MLW seems to be able to get work visas for people. Could you join MLW? Could you go to Mexico and work at CMLL or AAA? Is Maple Leaf Pro, are they sponsoring visas in Canada? They've got some fucking money behind them. Are they doing sponsorship? I'm having so much trouble getting this piece to line up right. So I'm sorry. I'm going to take this bottom piece out and focus on this head piece here. I'm so glad I didn't try to do this on Thursday because I can't even get this fucking piece in, let alone do the sticker part. So hold on while I try to figure this out. And I don't want to use my, well, I guess I could. This is theoretically thick enough for me to use this like this. Now this is going to slide out of my, yeah, maybe it'll. There. I think I got it. Nope, I didn't get it. It fell right out. I didn't get it. So there's a number of reasons why wrestlers take the deal. While they take the 90 days and they don't go and work anywhere else and they take the money, there are a lot of reasons to do that. It is generally industry standard that you do that you don't jump ship. Now, if your contract expires, right? Your contract expires, you weren't laid off. They just said, hey, we're not going to renew your contract. And also, you don't have to keep coming to work. We're just going to pay you to sit at home. Sometimes they'll do that. Or if you thought they were going to negotiate and they're negotiating up to the wire because the company still wants you, but you don't want to go, then most of the time they're not going to just release you early. They're just going to have you ride out your contract. And if it's AEW, then you stay at home until your contract expires. And then they tell you, you're not renewing, or you said, hey, I'm not renewing. And if you're in the WWE, then you lose on TV in embarrassing matches. As is tradition with WWE. That is traditionally what they will do, is just have you lose on TV to mid-carders below your station in embarrassing fashion to make you less worth it, to attempt to paint you as a joke. That has been their standard practice. Whereas AEW just says, oh, you're not going to re-sign? Okay. Well, why don't you just hang out at home for another 5 months and maybe people will forget that you're a pretty good wrestler. We'll even go so far as to make cancel your indie dates and say there's a conflict so you can't do your indie dates, even though you're allowed to do indie dates in this company. We say you're allowed to do indie dates, but we've decided that you don't get to do indie dates because we are mad at you, which they've done. Now, 4 names were announced today. Were discovered today, I should say, not announced. They were discovered today, are no longer part of the WWE. This comes a week after the layoffs It is most likely assumed that these are people that have been released from their contracts. Two of those people, JC Mateo, best known as Jeff Cobb, honestly. Jeff Cobb, many people know him from Lucha Underground, or they know him from Ring of Honor, or they know him probably best from New Japan. There is consideration. He's in his early 40s. He does not look it, and people did not know he was in his early 40s. And so people were, I remember at the time, were very surprised to find out that he did not sign with AEW and decided to sign with WWE, because it was just like, what? And then it was like, wait, the WWE just hired a guy who's in his early 40s to go to the main roster? That's crazy. And it is. It's pretty fucking crazy that they did that. Okay, so this goes here like this. And then I got to put stickers on the front and back of this. So we'll do that right now. I'm going to make this head bigger so I can look at it. Yeah, okay. I think I'm doing this right. We'll find out. All right, I need stickers 3 and 4, and then eye stickers 1 and 2 have to go on there, but we'll do that as well. Jeff Cobb mostly worked in tags and trios matches, did very few one-on-one matches, was clearly brought in to be muscle for the MFTs, which is My Family Tree, which was the follow-up to the Bloodline. It was Solo Sikoa. Within that group, we also had Tonga Loa, who signed in 2024. Also part of the MFTs. He's now gone as well. He is one of Haku's sons. That's right. A Tongan. 3 of his sons are in WWE, and they were in a group led by a Samoan. Jeff Cobb is Hawaiian. It's fucking wrestling. I don't know what to tell you. It's just wrestling, and wrestling is bullshit in sometimes the best ways and sometimes in very obvious shitty ways. So we don't quite know if they have been released, if they are like what the fucking deal is with these dudes, what's going on, if they quit, if their contracts didn't get renewed and they got let go. We don't know. But honestly, they take a back seat to the real news. If there's anything that's real news, it is crazy news. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, also known as Austin Creed, have parted ways with the WWE. Perceived lifers, particularly in the case of Kofi Kingston, who had been there for 20 years. Also worth noting that Xavier Woods apparently close to making a comeback to wrestling after being out for a while with a shoulder injury since, I believe, the beginning of February. This is kind of fucking wild news that these two are no longer part of the company. Kofi, like I said, often considered by many to be a lifer, that he would be there forever. Former world champion, of course, WWE champion, a tag team champion, as long as Xavier Woods, former King of the Ring for Xavier. This is wild. So, reporting on this, come to terms with, not released. I truly thought the only way New Day would leave would be via retirement. Yeah. So apparently, this is the word that's coming through that people are reporting on this. Apparently, a big thing that TKO is doing is getting wrestlers to re-sign different deals. So you already have a deal with, but that's a WWE contract, not a TKO contract. And they're trying to get people to sign deals that are worth less money. They are trying to spend less money. It is reported that when you include the money they get from merchandise, that Kofi and Xavier were making low 7-figure per year. TKO would like them to have less than that. So apparently they tried to renegotiate their contracts Kofi and Xavier did not like that, did not like the deal that was being presented to them, and offered an alternative, which was, how about we're not going to re-sign this? We are not going to sign a new contract. Keep paying us on our old contract. Could not come to terms, and therefore WWE said, okay, you can go. You can walk. After 90 days, we'll consider this like we're letting you go because you have no interest in signing a different deal with us right now. Which is wild. So a bunch of question marks come up. Kofi Kingston is the wrestling name that Kofi used on the Indies. His real name is Kofi. Kofi Kingston is a character he came up with on the Indies. And then, did he sell the name, or did he lease the name to WWE? We don't know. He can certainly be Kofi as long as he wants. Xavier Woods. Austin Creed was his indie name. Excuse me. Sorry, couldn't mute that because I didn't know when it was coming. Xavier Woods could go back to being Austin Creed. But does he own the name Austin Creed? Because he doesn't own Up, Up, Down, Down. He sold Up, Up, Down, Down to the WWE. So is Austin Creed the name of the host of the show? We don't know. It could be Kofi and Austin. That's because they could just do that. They could just do those two things, and that could be that. And they can just be those two guys. We don't know. Is it possible that WWE owns Kofi Kingston, but because they would like to have a mutually beneficial relationship with Kofi in the future, that because he is a world champion, a WWE champion, and they would like to have him come back and do stuff with them, much like Braun Strowman, where he's still Braun Strowman, even though he doesn't own that name, they could license the name to him, or they could give him the name. Indy Hartwell. That's not her name. That's the name that WWE NXT gave her. She's Indy Hartwell, and because they gave her the name. Shotzi Blackheart, sold the name Shotzi to WWE when she got there. She walked out of there with the name Shotzi. They gave it back to her. So she could be Shotzi Blackheart. She just goes by Shotzi on the Indies because they're like, yeah, we'll give you that name. It's possible they could do that with Woods. They probably won't. It's possible they could do that with Kofi. I don't know if they will. But like I said, it has happened within last year's releases, where they have done that. Santino Marella. Eventually, the WWE stopped renewing the name, the copyright on the name Santino. And our boy went and got it, and now he is the recipient of that. And he was like, hey, like, do you want to do a deal with me, or can I just go and pick it up? And they said, go and pick it up. So it's possible. I don't know if it's likely, but it's possible that they could just be those names. They'll never be the New Day again until they go back in. Because eventually, Kofi's going to retire, and they'll want him in the WWE Hall of Fame. Because Kofi Kingston is phenomenal. They'll want Big E to put Kofi Kingston in the Hall of Fame. They'll just want that. If you're wondering why didn't Big E leave, it's because he is never going to wrestle again. And they pay him well. Eventually, they might stop paying him to be a goodwill ambassador and a talking head and all of that. They might stop him at some point. I don't know if they will, but they might. They might stop doing that. They might realize, we don't need to do this. You know, our overlords are telling us we're wasting money on this guy. They could do that. I don't think they will. But I think that they could do that if they wanted to. It's shocking. The New Day is done. So a thing that I need to say right now is, Woods is hurt. 90 days from now, does he not have an on-screen role? Let's because I said he's a talking head. So he does like pre-show stuff for them. and is a goodwill ambassador and makes some appearances on occasion for premium live events. He's hanging out in the green screen room at Titan Towers, chatting with people. A thing that's so by the time that 90 days is up, hopefully Woods is cleared to wrestle in some instance. Now, obviously, his rivalry and friendship with Kenny Omega, well known. It would make a lot of sense for him to appear in AEW. Kofi Kingston had his share of injuries, but a legendary career. Started wrestling when he was young, still young, my age, could certainly still go, can certainly do it. It would make a lot of sense for them to end up in AEW. But also, when you think about them as a tag team, when you think about the New Day, in your mind's eye, when you think about them as pro wrestlers, you are not thinking about how they wrestle in 2026. You are thinking about them from 10 years ago. And that's important to remember. Because I say a lot of stuff of being like, oh man, we're going to get Bucks versus New Day versus FTR. Or we're going to get Bucks versus New Day versus Motor City Machine Guns. And it's important to remember that the New Day is not what you're remembering. Motor City Machine Guns, you're remembering them from 15 years ago or more. They can still go. Alex Shelley still fucking got it. But it's different. It's not the same. And it's important to remember that shit. That they're not the same. They're not who you remember. I mean, people were mad that I was talking about Kairi Sane coming back to WWE and not having it. Just not having that. And not being the same Kairi. I was like, yeah, she's not the same Kairi. And people are like, oh, she definitely was. She was underutilized. I was like, nah, man. She was sloppy and messy and confused. And it was weird. She wasn't that Kairi. And she wouldn't be that Kairi in AEW. Because she can't be that Kairi anymore. It's a mess. WWE not having Kofi Kingston in it is weird. Not having Woods in it is weird. I made a silly prediction. I don't believe this is true, but I think this is a funny prediction to make, that maybe Kofi doesn't sign with anybody and he just does, he raises his kids and spends a lot of time with the family, and maybe he just focuses on that stuff. And then I don't know. He does own us and run. He's not there for it, but he does. He is in charge of a school in Ghana, a library and online stuff, and he does all of that. So maybe he focuses on that and does that stuff for a while. Does humanitarian efforts, and then also, not for nothing, obviously, it's more likely that the two of them go and be Wrestle Bros and go do the wrestling. And it makes the most sense in AEW. But also, what if during these 90 days, TNA calls and Carlos Silver is like, hey, you know who never got to be world champion and should have been world champion in TNA Impact? Austin Creed. Because you know who's not going to make Austin Creed a champion? A singles world champion? AEW's not going to do that. They shouldn't. They shouldn't do that. But they're not going to. You know who would? TNA fucking would. TNA would make him world champion. For a long time. Like a long run as world champion. And I know that is like, for people that watch AEW, they want New Day in AEW. They want Motor City Machine Guns in AEW. They want Kairi Sane in AEW. They want these things. And I understand that. But what if fucking Xavier Woods, Austin Creed, goes to TNA to be their new world champion? Creed returns. It could fucking happen. It could fucking happen. I don't think it's gonna happen, but it could fucking happen. Man, I don't know. And as I say, anytime we're talking about these things, we're talking about who should go where and how they should go there and all that. It is my duty. I feel like, so Lashbrook, the thing you got to remember is TNA is hiring people from the WWE all the time. People that got released by the WWE work for TNA, like Indy Hartwell. Like, not at the level of a Xavier Woods, but they do. Nick Nemeth is there right now. The guy that they've released 2 different times is there. So, like, yes, it would make it weird, but they'll still do it. Like, the Hardys are signed to TNA and not the WWE. The WWE is happy that the Hardys aren't signed to AEW, but they're not happy that they're signed to TNA, you know? But then they got them every once in a while. So, like, you can totally go to TNA. The inspiration was there. Like, a lot of people who get released end up there. And they're fine with it. Because it means they didn't go to AEW. So they love it. They would love for you to go to TNA if it means you're not going to fucking AEW. That's awesome. So it's like, it benefits them if wrestlers they release go to TNA. They love it. They fucking love it. So it doesn't end up being weird. Because it's hugely beneficial to them. So the thing as I was trying to say there, but I want to jump on that. The thing that I constantly say, and I know I'm a broken record about this, but I'll keep saying it is, anytime people talk about this person should get hired, this person should get hired, and all of that, the thing I will come back to is, I wish AEW would put the people I like that they pay on television. Eddie Kingston is on Ring of Honor right now. Fuck that shit. He's healthy. Big Bill, Ring of Honor. Brian Keith, Ring of Honor. There are a bunch of people who are just paid that, as far as we know, are not injured, and they're just not on TV. They're just hanging out. Sucks. Speedball Mike Bailey was on TV on Wednesday to walk out with Kevin Knight for Kevin Knight's match. You got no room for fucking Speedball on your TV? You got no place for Speedball. You got no matches for Speedball. Fucking Ace Austin is wrestling twice this week. He's working he's working. He worked Wednesday and he's working tonight. He worked tonight. You got Ace Austin working 2 nights this week. You ain't got a match for Speedy? Nothing from my guy Speedy. It's rude is what it is. It's rude to me. Disrespecting me. We have a lot to panel line. Let's panel line some stuff. But that is always my thought when it comes to these things is, hey, what if, where's Riho? We can't have Rio? We can't have Yuka Sakazaki? Is it because we've got a storyline right now with Shida and you can only have one Asian? Emi Sakura can't be putting people over? Just fucking have Emi lose. Get some of your younger talent in the ring with Emi Sakura to see what the fuck is up. Oh, I missed a piece here. before we panel in. I'm not even fucking getting into the fact that Athena is still on fucking Ring of Honor. What the fucking fuck? Athena is one... I am not even going to gender this. I will not gender this information. Athena is the best heel in AEW. Without question. One of the best wrestlers in AEW and the best fucking heel in the company. And she's on Ring of Honor as the Forever Champ. There are 3 titles you can win in the AEW women's division. And Athena ain't a champ for any of them. Ridiculous. Disgusting. So before we get excited about Kairi Sane or Alba Fire coming in, I mean, you know, I don't think that they're going to be putting in Zelina Vega because I think they can't hire Zelina if they don't hire Aleister Black, Malachi Black, and they're not going to hire Malachi Black, it doesn't seem like. So Zelina Vega will probably become a champion in Hog, House of Glory Wrestling, which is co-owned by her cousin, the Amazing Red, who trained her to be a wrestler. I feel like that's probably where we're going to see her when 90s is up. First is probably at Hog. Also probably Malachi Black will show up there. Maybe he'll be Tommy End. Maybe he'll go with Tommy End for that. Come back to being Tommy End and not be Malachi, which he could be. Anyway, that's a lot of talk about that. I don't know. But yeah, there's just so many wrestlers that, and again, Chris Jericho gets beat up every week is better than Chris Jericho wrestling, but it's still Chris Jericho every fucking week. And I would like to see Eddie fucking Kingston show up. What if I got to see Eddie fucking Kingston? Be cool as hell. I'd be very happy to see Eddie show up and beat some fuckers up. It's weird to think about Austin Creed not in the WWE. It's very weird to think about Kofi Kingston not in WWE. Oh, I should also say this because I'm a petty bitch sometimes. I don't feel bad about it because the WWE is a horrible company, and you choosing on your own to walk away, I think, is incredible and remarkable, and I think it's great. I don't like it when people are laid off, especially people that are from overseas and have to deal with visa stuff and their continued work in the United States is pulled in question suddenly without warning. I'm certainly not interested in that and not a fan of that. But for Kofi and for Woods, who are now free after their 90 days, this is phenomenal. I'm very happy for them. I hope they do incredibly well, and I know they will. But yeah, I don't feel sad or bad about it because I said this before, I don't watch the product. And if they're not on the product, they might be on something that I do watch. I don't know. Xavier Woods going for Woods signing a New Japan deal is actually the thing that is the funniest idea for me. And him working the US shows and then some Japanese dates is honestly the thing that would be the most exciting. It doesn't make any sense for him to do that at all financially, at all. But it is very funny to think about him doing that and just doing tours of game companies and stuff for his own YouTube stuff that is not Up Down Down because he doesn't own that anymore. They're also, hey, I don't know. Tyler Breeze still did stuff with Up Down Down. They signed a contract for him to do that, even though they released him. It's not impossible that they might be like, oh, hey, we should still keep doing this, which would be weird. It wouldn't make any sense for them to still want to do it with him. I assume up, down, up, up, down, down is going to be up, up, done, done, but who knows? I assume that they won't just have Breeze continue to do it, but maybe they will. Maybe they'll keep having Tyler Breeze run it, and he'll just run it on his own. That sounds like a bad idea, but they could still do it. They could choose a bad idea if they wanted to. I don't think they should, but they could. A couple other news stories. We've got more layoffs came in on Friday, unfortunately, here in the gaming sphere. Survios, which is they worked on Alien Rogue Incursion, which people said was a really good VR game. They are a VR-focused studio, and they have laid off the majority of its development team. They also made Creed Rise to Glory, which I've also heard good things about. But yeah, this was somebody from the combat designer said, I was informed today that Survios is at its current stance will essentially shuttered, with all of the team members responsible for developing being let go, including myself. Today, I, along with the majority of the development team, was impacted by layoffs at Survios. And another staff member said, I saw this coming a while ago. I am going to take a bit of time to redevelop my position in the games industry. But apparently, yeah, writing on the wall for that. It's not, unfortunately, super surprising. Getting publishing funding, getting development funding for that kind of project is certainly going to be tough these days. So it's unfortunately not super shocking, but it is, obviously unfortunate that people are being laid off like that. It certainly sucks. Let's see. Ben Brode. There were some made a statement because there was about a month ago that people were worried that Second Dinner was going to be in trouble. Because there have been some layoffs there. People have been talking about this for a while, being worried for the company in general, because things are looking a little rough over there. The community when a community manager goes, that is a worrying sign when you are letting go a community manager. That, to me anyway. Ben Brode made a statement and said, we said goodbye to a few members of our team yesterday, including our awesome community manager. You know how much he cared about this community, and we're going to miss him. We know many of you will too. These decisions were painful to make and say nothing about the quality of the people leaving, which is the nicest way to say that. But yeah, okay, sure. Sometimes feels a little hard to believe, because if they're that great, why are you letting them go? Griffin Bennett, who came from Destiny 2 and Overwatch, and then Brode said in a Discord post, for those concerned about Snap, we're still here, still building, still committed to this game and to you. The roadmap we shared in March remains the same. This is us making hard decisions to make sure we keep going, not a sign that we're winding down. And as a reminder, folks, layoffs happen in good times and bad times. But also, small teams that make layoffs, when like 1 or 2 or 5 people's salaries can make or break you surviving, that is the sign that things are not going fucking great. And putting on a smile and a happy face is because, of course, if things are going bad for Marvel Snap, they need to keep people. They can't hemorrhage people who are going, well, I'm going to get invested in something else because this shit's not going to last. Like, they need people to stick around while they try to figure out ways to grow, and also to get some of the people to stick around to spend more money, because maybe they're not doing that enough. And then, of course, there's some people in the subreddit for Snap said, Snap isn't done, but this is definitely not a good sign. Once quality drops, it's on cruise control until the whales fall off. Yeah. But also, like I said, if you are a community-driven game and you are laying off your community manager and then having someone lower rank than them take over the responsibilities because they're cheaper, that is not a good sign for a healthy company. Also not doing great. Look, a bunch of people make more about this than I would, but it is worth mentioning. Recently, I talked about Last Flag, which was a online-only, multiplayer-only capture the flag game, shooter, that would not have been mentioned at all anywhere, except for the fact that the co-owner of the studio is the lead singer of Imagine Dragons, Dan Reynolds, and his brother Mac Reynolds, who is the manager of the band. Apparently nobody's playing it, and also, like, it's probably winding down. It's probably not going to make it. It would take a huge sudden swing. This is unfortunately game development, at any time. And the conversation around this game was mostly like, okay, well, is it the fact, like, what's wrong with it? Is it just not that fun? Is it that it didn't draw in a user base? Is it the fact that it's multiplayer only? Is it people who would normally be interested in this kind of a game balking at the idea of buying a game from the guy from Imagine Dragons? Shouldn't it have been a hit if the lead singer of Imagine Dragons was posting it on Imagine Dragons social media, was posting about the game? Like, shouldn't this have worked? And it's like, yeah, there's a lot of shoulda couldas there, but I don't know, man. Shit's rough out there. And also, like, I don't know how many people that actively listen to Imagine Dragons enough that they follow Imagine Dragons on social media are also like, oh shit, Dan made a video game? I gotta peep that. I gotta pop it. I gotta check that shit out. Dan made a fucking video game, y'all. I'm there, day one. I don't know. I'm not trying to be a dick in this instance. Because I literally don't know. I don't know if I should think that a online only, multiplayer only capture the flag game where one half of the studio founder is the lead singer of Imagine Dragons. I don't know if that should, like, be making waves or not. Like, I literally don't fucking know. Part of me says no, it should make waves. But I don't know. I don't fucking know. All right, we got this far with the step here. So we got this panel lines. We're looking good on this. I'm moving. This thing's moving around. It's time to continue working on the arms here, which we started earlier because I had to do all this panel lining. My only two touch points with the band are Radioactive and the absolutely terrible song Ada was on. Yes, that's not good. As always, I'm not going to get deep into this, but as I must mention, the song Radioactive and the album it is from started off as a concept album to help sell the idea of doing a Spider-Man musical. This Vegas-based band, Imagine Dragons, was approached with helping to flesh out songs to get investor interest in doing a musical based on Spider-Man. And then The Edge got involved, and that music went away. And because it was owned by the band, they decided to finish it off and put it out as an album with the guy that got them to put together to help produce it. And that's how we got Imagine Dragons. The song Radioactive is about Spider-Man. Because of course it is. But that's always fun to say, so I like to include that bit of information. That Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark could have been music by Imagine Dragons. And you know what? Maybe it should have been. Excuse me. We can do all this at the same time, so we're doing all this at the same time. We're going to keep working on the arms. Let's see. There's a song. Sorry, it's not a song. There's a video game that has a trailer out. It is called City of None. And it looks fucking awesome. It is a pixelated game that is aping the style of a Game Boy. It is looking like a Game Boy game, but it is a Metroidvania style game called City of None, as I said. It looks fucking wild and great. It is being published under the same studio label of the that put out Celeste, Extremely OK Games, and it is being made by one of the co-creators of Celeste. And it just looks fucking neat. Yeah, EXOK is formed by Maddie Thorson following the release of Celeste. And they're being supported by Extremely OK Games. So it's being developed by Noel Berry, who co-created Celeste and did the art for most of the art for it. And then the soundtrack is being, or sound design is being done by Liam Berry, his brother. So it's a brother team. And it looks really neat. You also may remember that Towerfall, which is Maddie Thorson's other game that is also is published by EXOK. And there was also a game called Earthblade, but that got canceled last year because there was some like infighting, or there's some kind of situation happening with them. So that game is gone. And maybe the Celeste team is just going to work on individual projects, but at least it's being published and they're sticking with that stuff. So we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, there appears to be maybe a little drama in that studio, and maybe we'll find out more about that in the future. Or we'll never find out anything else about it, and they'll just keep it close to the vest. But yeah, that game looks fucking neat. And then one last thing. Apparently, Ryan Cohen, the CEO of GameStop, has it in his head that the way to save GameStop is to buy eBay. Is eBay for sale? Probably not. How would a company that is valued at $12 million buy a company, so $12 billion, that is valued at $46 billion? Is eBay interested? If Ryan approached other, so part of this right now is that they're buying eBay stock. They are buying stock in eBay and stakes in eBay in order to get ready to get an offer. This is reported by the Wall Street Journal. And if leadership is like not interested, then he can, because he will be a shareholder with a number of shares, he can then approach board members and shareholders directly and be like, hey, wouldn't this be a great fucking idea? We should do this shit. And it really, the rebirth of ePay games. Yes, shit toast. I know that reads better than it says out loud, but yes. eBay Games. Yeah, they'll rebrand it like it's EB Games in Canada. They'll go with a rebrand. The real thing about this, folks, and you don't need me to tell you this, is that GameStop is a fucking joke. And I don't think if you're a shareholder in eBay that you would think that this is going to be an infinite money glitch. Because remember, they would want to sell, right? Like, shareholders would love for a company to get sold and the stock price to be valued higher and to get a big jump. They would love that shit. But nobody is treating GameStop with respect. And in fact, the price could tank because of that. Because people will be like, oh shit, they're selling to GameStop? Let's get out while we can. Like, it could be unbelievably detrimental to them making money if they were suddenly like, yes, we are excited about this. Where they would get the money? Would they attempt to buy it on credit and then have eBay pay it back? Like, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking in this instance, but it's very strange. Also, they lost $2 billion in profit year to year. So they're down $2 billion. So it's like, okay. I'm sorry. 0.2 billion. So my apologies. I misspoke there. And they're finally in the black. It took them a number of years to get to the point now where they are somewhat of a profitable company. And so it is just very funny for them to be like, this is what we're going to need to do. Like, if we want to fucking survive out here, is we got to buy eBay. They would absolutely buy it and stick eBay with the debt. They're being bought and declare bankruptcy. Yes, Lashbrook. And so that's the thing, right? Like, sometimes if you're a shareholder of eBay and you just want to make a little bit of money right now, and you don't care that in the future you won't make money because this shit's going to fucking suffer and tank, then you might be excited about that. But also, like I said, nobody is going to be excited about fucking motherfucking goddamn piece of shit eBay being psyched about GameStop. Like, no one's gonna be fucking stoked about fucking GameStop coming in. Like, that's just not how that's gonna work. It ain't gonna work the way they think it would. Who knows though? And then one last thing. Why instead of focusing on new avenues, why instead of focusing on new ways to rehabilitate the brand, a couple of different directions to go, why is Ryan Cohen so focused on acquiring a company? And it's because if he can raise their market cap, he gets a huge bonus and a huge payout. So he wants to get to $100 billion market cap so he can make $35 billion. Now again, they're right now they're making $3.8 billion a year. The idea that they could get to $100 billion is ridiculous. It's completely and utterly ridiculous. It would be very funny if they bought eBay. I will just leave it at that. It would be very funny if they bought eBay. That is a very silly thing. If GameStop owned eBay, and then then it's fucking tougher to sell video games on eBay Like, because that's like immediately they would do that, right? Like immediately they'd be like, well, yeah, no, we don't use games. Nah, use games. You don't sell those on eBay. Your best bet, if you got fucking used games, you gotta fucking send that shit to GameStop. Like, you know, they'd fucking pull some dumb bullshit because they were just like trying to leverage their brand. You know, it'd be something really stupid like that. God. All right, we're going to take a pause for the cause in a moment or two, talk about ways you can support the channel and all that stuff. Let me get this little piece on here, and then we can get going with that. Get into that stuff. Talk about some anime in the second hour, all those things and things. Get over there. Okay. All right, I think I'm doing this right. We'll find out. As always, friends, never fully confident that I'm doing this correctly until later in the process where I'm like, oh yeah, now this works. I did this right. Sure. This does seem correct, so. Yes, okay, so that seems correct. I just have to get it really high up in there and then... There, okay. Yes, this looks right. Great. Excellent. All right, pause for the cause. If you're new or you don't hang out much for the second hour of the stream, what's going to happen right now is I'm going to talk to you for a couple minutes here about ways that you can support the channel and what I do here. Everything I'm about to talk to you about is optional. You are under no obligation to do any of the things I'm going to bring up, but if you would like to support me and what I do here, I'm just going to give you some opportunities to do that and some ways to do that. Jam to subscribe with Prime. That's 95 months. Thank you so much, Jam. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego scythe. Tier 2 blue emote in chat. Thank Jam for the continued support. That means a lot. I appreciate you, Jam. Thank you for that. But yeah, if you're also a subscriber, you can throw the emotes in the chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through Cash Money. Or using your Prime Gaming token, as Jam just did. It does help me out. We're currently at 19 subscribers. The goal is to get to 30. I shut up about the number of subscribers I have when we hit 30. So if you want to become a subscriber, now is a great time to do that. If you want to gift a sub and be the top of the gift sub leaderboard, that would be cool. You could do that. New month. And so if you want to like jump in there and all month, you'll be at the top of the leaderboard. And that's pretty neat. Also, sorry, let me just... Nope, don't have a sneeze. I thought I had a sneeze. I don't have a sneeze. Supporting me here on Twitch is the easiest thing to do because you're already here on Twitch. Oh, we're at 20 now because of Jam. Thank you, Jam. Now we're at 20 subscribers. The goal is to get to 30. That's very cool. But there are other ways to support me financially that isn't what I was talking about there, like Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. My Patreon over there, I have a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. There are different rewards for the different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon at one of those tiers if you would like. Maybe the $1 tier makes sense for you. Maybe the $10 tier is what you're looking for. Could be. But a bunch of different things there. Let's see. I have a YouTube channel at youtube.com/PatBear. Over my YouTube channel, of course, subscribing is free, and I would encourage you to do so because I make videos, and you should check out my videos. And if you subscribe, they'll send them to you. YouTube will try to get you to watch them. Also on my YouTube channel, I have a membership, and for just $2 a month, you can become a member over there. And how that works is, every single Tuesday, I sent a message out to my members with a video link for the video that I send everybody else out on Wednesday. So you'll get to see a video that other people have to wait longer to see, which I think is pretty neat. I think it's pretty cool. So consider doing that if you want to do that. You don't have to, but you could. Be kind of nice. So that's another way to support me is to jump over there. Those are all monthly ways to support what I do here. If you just want to throw like a couple bucks in a tip jar, I've got a Ko-Fi and a PayPal, and you can make a direct donation. And everything I make through those methods, through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me out financially, through my Patreon and through my Twitch, all goes into a fund. And from that fund, I pull money out to buy model kits and Lego sets, so and gear on occasion, like the overhead light that I have now. The next thing that I'm going to be purchasing in a couple months, probably, because I'm trying to do the research, is I'm going to get a new microphone, because this thing I want to have as a backup, because right now my backup microphone is a headset mic, and that's not good. I don't want that to be my backup. So I'm looking to invest in a new microphone. But yeah, I can do this because of your generosity. You help me out a lot. So consider becoming a subscriber, jumping on the Patreon, however you want to help me out. Now, this kit was sent to me by DSHS. DSHS sent this and some other kits for me to build. And because they were sent, I was like, all right, great. I'll do that before I do other stuff. This will be the next thing that I work on. That's the least I could do. If you would also like to buy something for me to build, the easiest way to do that is to go to my Amazon wish list and just buy something there. It'll come to me in the mail. I'll make a dedicated video for my YouTube channel about the thing that you purchased, and then it'll jump the queue and become the next thing I build. I've got model kits and Lego sets on this list, inexpensive stuff, expensive stuff, some gear, like a pour type Gundam marker, which I've never used the pour type. I've just used the kind of like line type. I'd love to try that out. A papercraft kit that's very fucking expensive, but has the cat bus on it, and that would be cool to build. Bunch of things and things. Model kits and Lego sets. Inexpensive stuff, as I said. Some stuff that's really fucking expensive. Ooh, there's the Lego Botanicals Happy Plants building toy. That's a cute little set. That set is on sale right now for like $18. That's a nice that's a good price for a cute kit. But yeah, see if there's anything there on this list that you see and you say, yeah, Pat, I want to build that, or I want you to build that. I want you to have that. Maybe you want to get me a Lego Sonic set that features Metal Sonic and a vehicle. That'd be fucking fun. Tails in a vehicle fighting against Metal Sonic. I could build that. The Hedgehog Cyclone versus Metal Sonic set. You could get that, and then I would, of course, build that sooner rather than later. I'm making a note that that's on sale, because I might just buy that on my own. I got to make some purchases anyway. I might just get that. That looks neat. It's on sale, as I said. My alternative to Amazon is I have a wish list on Throne. Consider checking out something there and see if you want to buy that for me to build. And if you want to support me financially, but it's got to be complicated and convoluted and nonsensical, the easiest way to do that is to go to USA Gundam Store. At USA Gundam Store, you can buy a gift card. They will send you an email with a gift card code. Then you can send that gift card code to me via Whisper on Twitch, or a private message on Blue Sky or Mastodon with that gift card code. And then I will use that gift card code to buy something from USA Gundam Store. You could do that if you wanted to. It's convoluted and complicated. If you want to support me, but you can't do it financially, you just don't have the funds, or you're not interested in spending money, join my Discord. I'd love to have you hang out in the Discord. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. The Discord is pretty chill, occasionally bombastic, but mostly pretty relaxed. And we would love to have you there. I think it would be neat if you want to come hang out in the Discord. That'd be great. A couple video links for you to check out from my YouTube channel, Pat Baer's Anime Club. My most recent episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club is me talking about weird manga. This is manga that have strange and unusual premises that are like weird, very weird manga. And I talked about them in a video. And maybe I described one you'll want to check out. Or one you're like, what the fuck? Why does that manga exist? Perhaps you'll say. And then Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series. It's a YouTube short, so it's under a minute. In this case, I talk about You and I Are Polar Opposites, a very fun romantic comedy from the winter 2026 season. Very happy to be able to talk about that show on in the video series because it's one of my favorites from that season. So it's great. It is a little bit of like, she's outgoing, he's really smart and blunt. They don't have anything in common except they, of course, they do have stuff in common, and there's an attraction there. She's pursuing him. It feels kind of nice and fun. They're both pretty well fleshed out as far as characters go. The supporting characters are fun. There's limited small amounts of like stuff that I'm like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, why this is in there? There's a little of that, but that's anime, unfortunately. But it's a good time. You should check out my 1 minute talking about the whole series. And that's going to do it for me for this part of the conversation here. For this, it's probably time for me to drink more water, get back to the overhead camera, to keep working on the arms for this kit, and also do all of that dramatically, which I'll do right now. All right. So, we're working on the arms right now, so we'll do that. And then a bit, we'll talk about some anime that I've been watching. So we'll get ready for that. We're even though it's May here, so we're still, hey, Lark Ration, welcome. It's May. We are still talking about the anime of this spring season. A few weeks into this, not this coming Monday, but the following Monday, I'll have my recommendations for, if you're looking for some shows to watch. And we'll get into that. But right now, I'm talking about episode 5 of An Observation Log of My Fiancée Who Calls Herself a Villainess and Always a Catch. Episodes 3 and 4, because I'm getting caught up on that show. Because I decided I didn't want to watch Snowball Earth anymore, and so I decided to pick this show up, and so I'm trying to get caught up with it. G, 17 and 15, so we'll get those together. Let me find G, and we can do these at the same time, because we're doing the arms here, 17 and 15. Okay, so, if you have not been watching, An Observation Log of My Fiancée Who Calls Herself Villainess, this is an isekai, but it is mostly from the perspective of, not always, all the time, most time, Cecil. Cecil is the Crown Prince. He has been bored with people for his whole life. The first person who has ever sparked his interest is his fiancée, a young woman named Bertia, who says that she is a villainess. She believes that this world is from a otome game that she played. And she is interested in seeing how things work. And she is trying to fulfill her role. The problem is that she is very nice and a little dumb. And so when she makes predictions about things that are going to happen, which are backstory for the game, they get prevented. Things are different. In fact, she now has like a younger sibling that she didn't have previously, and there are some changes around there. And most notably, one of the major changes is she has a dedicated friend group that she calls her underlings, but she doesn't treat them like underlings because she's not a nasty bitch. So she treats them well, and they like her a lot. Another major change is that she goes out of her way to, like, she wants the ending where Heronia, the main heroine of the story, where she ends up with Cecil, the Crown Prince. So in order to help facilitate that, she makes the other love interests end up with the characters they would end up with otherwise, and helps them out. There's a whole last episode that was very fun, where she's just going around. I'm having trouble getting this locked in. I think this is supposed to lock in, and I can't get it to lock in. So I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? But I might be just doing a lot of things wrong with this. I think that's maybe just how it's supposed to go, and nope, this is not lined up right. See, that's the thing. This isn't lined up right, and it's just going to cause me problems in the future if I don't do it right now. So I got to try to figure out what I'm doing wrong so I can do it right. I think this is correct now. Doesn't feel right, though. Nope. So that's the thing, right? It's almost correct, but it doesn't feel actually correct. So it's like, okay, well, what do I have to do? What am I doing wrong here? Where isn't it slipping in? I can do it on the other side and see if that works better, and then I can figure out why. Making sure these are the right part numbers. These are the right part numbers. We'll see. Anyway, also, Heronia is complaining because things aren't going the way they should be going, and she acts out of character as well. And we don't know this, but we're guessing as a smart audience member, we are guessing, oh, she was also isekai'd, and she's going for the reverse harem ending, which she can't get, and she doesn't understand why Bertia isn't going by the script and why people aren't mad at her, because she should be the villainess, but she's not the villainess. And our girl is she's not good at doing this. Oh, there it goes. Okay, this is how it's supposed to go. So I have to do this right, and then if it locks in like that, it can lock in like that. Yeah, okay. So you can see there's a difference between these two, and I got to figure this out. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here, but I'm glad I did it on the other side instead of just saying, oh, this must be right, because it's not right. But I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't think okay, this wasn't that tight, so that might be it. I didn't tighten it down enough. Nope. I pull it forward. There it is. Okay. Got it. Great. And then it can also ride up like that and then lock in. It rides up like that and locks in. Great. Okay. There's a lot of movement for this thing, and sometimes that's confusing. Then you need to put on, make sure that this goes like this. Like that? Yeah, okay. All right, so that's going to go like that. And then I'll go like that. Okay. All right, we're going to now do I-23 and I-24. G goes here. I, J, K, H, I. There we go. There it is. Okay. Continuing to talk about this. Heronia starts a rumor that Bertia is bullying her. So, again, Heronia, we're getting the sense she's also isekai'd and is looking for the hard ending and can't understand why things are going wrong. But she's also been described by Cecil as kind of fucking annoying and a weird vibe. So, like, he didn't quite say it like that, but he's not interested. And he also, Cecil is annoyed that his fiancée keeps trying to set the two of them up and have meet cutes. And he's just like, why does she keep doing this? It's weird. I like her. I don't like this other girl. What the fuck? So he's frustrated by that. So there's rumors going around. Cecil notices that Bertia has made earrings for everyone in their inner circle friend group, but she never made earrings for him. What? That hurts his feelings. He's he's bummed by that. All right, so I need I, 23 and 24. This is H, not I. That's why I couldn't find them. There's a lot of sprues here. Eventually, as we start making progress, these sprues will empty out, and I won't have to think about them as much. But right now, I have to think about them more because there's a lot of them. Because this is a big-ass master grade. So there's going to be a lot of stuff to do on it. Okay, so Bertia later gives him an earring. And apparently, Heronia has hypnosis powers, which I'll admit, for a heroine to have hypnosis ability is weird. And Bertia was like trying to protect people, and she later admits, she was like, I wasn't sure if I should give one to you because you're supposed to end up with her, and so like maybe this is the wrong call. And of course it is the right call, because he wants to be with her. He doesn't want to be with someone, especially if he is hypnotized to be with her. Okay, so I might have missed a step here because this piece, I don't know, it doesn't want to slide in here well. Okay, no, there it goes. I gotta give myself more patience and more grace, I think, while doing this stuff. Because I think I think I'm not giving myself enough space to figure this out, because it's a complicated kit. All right, so this would go like that. Okay. This piece will go again on here. Cecil takes the earring, and then Zeno casts a spell on Cecil and Bertia so their earrings can't be removed. And so that way that they can't have like somebody under the hypnosis can't remove them, which could become important later. Right now is just like a good method, but that could mean something down the road. The king orders Cecil to study in another country for 4 months. So, he's going to be out of the loop. This could be rough for our heroine, or it could be fucking fine. We don't know. Cecil figures out that that country that he's going to, he's got a mission while he's there. It's on its front. It's for studying, but that country is becoming corrupt, and so he's going to take advantage of their greed and spy and figure some stuff out. He finds out via his spy network that Bertia is being accused of bullying, and she is being framed for it. And Cecil is like, well, it'd be weird if it was Heronia, because the methods are like really direct, and it's not like, it's very fucking obvious that she's being set up. Like, there's nothing clever about this. There's nothing really super underhanded about it. It's just like very obviously a setup. So she's like, I don't know. There might be something more going on here, is what he suspects. Oops. Sorry, my mic moved on. I bumped my mic, and I'm sorry about that. G. I need G now. Okay, let me get G out here. Let's see. Okay, so we get back. He gets back because, again, we're kind of focusing on this series focuses on Cecil and his feelings and all that. So he gets back, and he gets kind of frustrated because Bertia is pretty stoked that people think that she's a villainess, that she's a bully. They're like, she's pretty happy about it because, again, this is the plot line that is supposed to be taking place, and she's just like, yeah, I don't know, this works. This works for me, which he, of course, is not happy with. Put it there. And then we can put this like this. Complicated arms, but we got it done. We can always turn like that, yeah. All right, arms are looking pretty good right now. And now we work on shoulders, which we can do all at the same time. We need L and I. Work on the shoulders, and then we'll do M and G. So we'll start with L and I, and then M and G. Okay. L and I 47. Okay. Let's see. Meanwhile, all her friends, all her quote-unquote underlings, are trying to prove her innocence because none of them believe that Bertia is doing any of this. And that they're like, we're trying to figure out that Heronia is doing this. Cecil figures out, oh, there are Heronia backers, but they've been actually hypnotized. And that's otherwise nobody likes her and nobody wants to follow her. And so apparently at some point Cecil had promised he wouldn't interfere in what's going on, but he does interfere because he witnesses Bertia's belongings being destroyed by Heronia, which is he's that's too far. He's like, you're just blatantly openly destroying like belongings like from my fiance. Like there's just no way that I would not interfere in this and be cool and just be on the sidelines. So he ends up threatening her. And Sean realizes that like Sean is like, hey, like you normally play things cool. You are not playing this cool. Are you just like lonely because Bertie is not like spending time with you and doesn't want your help? Like, are you forcing it? Like, what's going on, my little guy? And then Cecil is like shocked by this. He had not considered that he might be jealous or lonely, and he might be acting out by that. So it's like a lot for him to process. And also, he does not get time to process this because at the end of the episode, we find out that Bertia has fallen down the stairs. Uh-oh. I think she'll be fine. But who pushed her down the stairs? What's happening right now? What is this? And again, even though she's being accused of bullying, she's clearly being bullied. And so it's like, what are we doing here? But yeah, I think I'll say this. It's very obvious that Heronia is also been isekai'd, but they don't go out of their way to be like, right? Everybody, we all know that we all get this, and I don't dislike that. I think that's fine that they're like not beating you over the head with it, but it's very fucking obvious that she is also an isekai'd character. And that it adds some dimension to it. I like it. I think it's pretty good. I'm enjoying the show. I think that it's got a fun idea. And again, I am super interested in shows that are isekais where the main character is not the isekai person and is just kind of dealing with what's going on in the world. I think that is unique when it happens and pretty fun, and I'm into it. All right. We're getting our shoulders worked on here. Getting the shoulders going. Going here. Okay. And then yeah. All right. Let's see. Anything else I need for this? No. Good there. All right. And now I need M and G. All right. So meanwhile, Always a Catch. Always a Catch is another fantasy anime, but it is not an isekai, and it's sort of a banishment. It's sort of a kicked story, but basically, our main girl, she was being raised to take over the family and take the name because they didn't have any male heirs. So she was kind of like trained to do all that, and then, wait, she has a little brother now, and so they're like, great, you're too old to get married at this point because we didn't get you an engagement for anything. So go to your friends, go study with your friend, and maybe you can meet a guy in another country. And then she does meet a guy because her best friend is engaged with somebody who turns out to want to end the engagement with a scandal to make his brother the crown prince so that his brother can hang out with the friend. And it's a whole thing. So Renato ends up becoming crown prince. So it just like doesn't work out at all. Also, like, Renato also confesses wants her to marry him, which we don't get a response to, but like is completely out of the blue at the end of episode 2, but like understandable for this kind of story. But basically, our guy tried to break an engagement because his brother is a better idea for being crown prince, so he was trying to get out of it. But also he did fuck over Maria, because Maria, who was not engaged, our main character, not engaged, she got her engagement rejected by the soon-to-be crown prince, and they're not engaged at all. Meanwhile, he's also catching feelings for her, which is fun, but not helpful, because he does have an engagement to the woman his younger brother is in love with, and it's complicated, but also fun. There's some stuff going on, but it's mostly, honestly, pretty fucking light, really. Episode 3, Renato is made crown prince, and Maria, because of course he hasn't asked her to marry him, is going to meet the king and queen, which she is fucking not ready for mentally, and she ends up getting lost on the way there, and she finds, eventually, they find her petting a puppy named Macaron. And that puppy, who is also apparently lost, is the puppy of the Renato's grandmother. And the grandmother and the king think this is very fucking funny. They think this is charming and sweet, that she got lost and then boom, they just find her petting a dog like it's not a big deal. So they find that charming. The person who does not find that charming, and we don't know why, but she has a very negative reaction, is the queen. The queen is not happy with this, and we don't know what happened. And then, hey, Maria's the crown princess now, so they are getting married. It's happening. It felt like we were going to have a longer thing of her, like, maybe saying no, or saying, like, are you sure? Do you get to do this? Do you even get to, you just broke off an engagement dramatically with a person you didn't recognize them by their face. Like, is it cool for you to do this with someone from a neighboring country? Like, we don't really get that. It's just like, okay, now we're engaged, and so we're doing it. She's crown princess. And so it's time for Ada, her friend, who originally was going to be the crown princess, to train her in proper etiquette, for royal etiquette. And then we meet a villainess. You knew there was one coming. Rosalia is a Maquis daughter, and she'd been bullying Ada because she is trying to get Renato for herself, right? She wants to be the crown princess, so she was using her position and also like hiding behind it to really bully Ada. Well, now it's time to bully Maria. And Maria does not fucking get that. Because Maria is just like, oh, thank God, someone my age, another friend. She just totally misreads the situation and thinks this girl is just trying to be nice and is very accepting of that. And it, in turn, completely throws Rosalia off. And Rosalia ends up, like, inviting Maria on a beach trip. Like, accidentally, they become friends. And she's totally, like, thrown off by this. And it's cute. It's weird because Maria doesn't seem to be a ditz, but she was very, like, she just, to make this work, she had to misunderstand the situation. And that does feel a little strange, but I'll forgive it because it's fun. It's a fun bit of business. So I'll go like, I don't really know why that worked the way it did, but sure, it worked. Okay. G19 and G11. And there's apparently some undergating on G11, so we'll have to investigate where the undergating is and clip those off. If you're familiar with that, it's just extra little nubbins that are there as like support pieces, and then we have to remove them because they will interfere with the plastic pieces connecting to one another. So this piece has nubbins. And, oh, yeah, there's a nubbin there. Okay. So either side of this has little extra nubbins. And they kind of tell you where they are. So you can just go in and clean these up. And then that should be it. All right, yeah, so they end up becoming friends. The queen invites Maria to tea. And apparently this is a test. This is going to be a test on her etiquette because the queen is very strict. And so Maria's like, okay, all right, I can do this. I can figure this out. Meanwhile, Renato is like, finds out that Maria is going to be spending a week visiting her family because it's good to see the family without him, and kind of recognizes, oh shit, I've been spending a lot of time with my fiance. I've kind of grown attached to her. Like it is a realization about how much he's going to miss her, which is cute. That, you know, like absence makes the heart grow fonder and all that. The queen is definitely unimpressed with Maria. Like Maria's been like cramming, but she hasn't spent her entire life preparing to be this girl. She expected to be like a, you know, to take over a house, not to become a queen of another country, you know. But also, hey, it's a good thing that Maria's there because somehow a fucking assassin got into the garden and shoots them, but Maria protects the queen. So congratulations, the queen is saved, and also this act of you know, not sacrifice but protection allows the queen to reveal, oh, I think Maria is great. I'm putting on an act. I pretend to be this strict. I'm not this strict. This is all for show because I've got to be a proper queen. But oh man, Maria is so cute and fun. I love this girl. This is awesome. I'm so psyched you're going to be my daughter. Like she was just hiding her true intentions this whole time, and now she gets to reveal it. And also her life is saved. Hooray. At the end of the episode, a mysterious man is pleased that Maria is more interesting than he first thought. And we don't know what the fuck any of that means, but there's apparently more things afoot. There's other things going on. Perhaps this is the person behind this assassination attempt. Was it even a real assassination attempt? Who can say? I can say, because I'm going to talk to you about episode 4. Because we're trying to get caught up on the show. You know what? We'll save episode 4 for Monday. We'll talk about episode 4 of Always Catch on Monday, because well, yeah. So we'll do Always a Catch and Kusanoki's Garden of the Gods on Monday. We'll do that. We'll split those up. Because now, what I want to hear, I want to hear from you, friends. I want to know what you're watching right now, what you're playing, what you're up to, what you're into, what you got going on. I always love hearing from you about those things, so feel free to let me know in the chat here if you've been watching any anime or playing any video games or doing anything. You got anything going on? I always love hearing from you about that stuff, so feel free to let me know. And now that we're almost done here, except for the hands, we can panel line this because I don't really want to start the hands because they're involved. So instead, we can work on getting these arms situated here and getting everything panel lined. I will let you know that your boy Pat here, I have been, I played more of Snap and Grab, and it's very fun and sometimes incredibly frustrating. And so sometimes I put it down because I'm like, I can't fucking figure out how to do this one thing. I would love to figure out how to do this one thing, and I can't fucking figure it out. And occasionally, it becomes unbelievably frustrating. But for the most part, it's very chill and cool, and I like it a lot. I'm having a good time with it. Let's see, what else? I'll tell you something that I watched that I'm not covering normally. I watched the bonus episode, the OVA, the extra episode that came out today of My Hero Academia, the final season. It is another part of the epilogue. And of course, I've read that in the manga, but it was nice to see it animated. And it was nice to revisit with some old friends. That continues to be my favorite anime of last year. Theoretically, I could count this as it being an anime release and put in my top 10 this one OVA if I wanted to. I don't think I'm going to do that. But yeah, I really liked that episode, and I thought that was fun. Still playing Hearthstone. I've got 3 decks I really like. To me, if I have 3 new decks that I play throughout, that's a good expansion. Sometimes there's only 1 deck I end up playing that I like. In this case, I've got 3 that I'm really enjoying. I don't have a standard deck right now, so I wish that I had something in standard to play that I liked. But my wild decks, I think, are all pretty great, and I'm enjoying them. But yeah, I do wish that I had a standard deck to check out. I got to keep my eyes peeled. And including the deck that I kind of crafted myself. I'm really enjoying that one. And I deck doctored it a bit more, and I'm liking where it's ended up. So I think there's something to be said for that deck, and having fun with some of the other ones. Yeah, having a good time with Hearthstone right now. I don't know when the mini set is coming out. I expect it'll be out in June probably, and we'll probably talk about the mini set stuff on my birthday stream. Reminder, save the date, June 23rd. It's a Tuesday. Starting at 3:30 p.m. will be my birthday subathon, and I will be streaming on Tuesday until, late, I don't know how many hours, but Tuesday I'll do several hours, and it'll be a good time. Yeah, I look forward to streaming with everybody on my birthday, and I'll definitely be doing some Hearthstone in there because it's always just nice to have that. And I have a few other ideas of things I can do. I'll be doing some small builds and also hanging out. I also want to do I want to unpack some cards and look at some random cards and stuff. And I think I'm going to get something from Card Kingdom, because I like Card Kingdom, and I have something that I want to get as a gift for somebody, so I can go through Card Kingdom. But also, my friends at Loading Ready Run do buttons there. You can say, Loading Ready Run, set me button, please, and you'll get a button from Card Kingdom if you buy cards from them. And they included the button. Their new button that is out for the month of May says, my deck isn't bad, it just hasn't won yet. and bad and one are all in capital letters. And that works for Magic, which I don't really play anymore, but it also works for Hearthstone because my decks aren't bad. They just haven't won yet. It's a good line. It's a good button. It's enough that I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have to put an order in with Card Kingdom because I want that button. I think that button would be good to have. Remember, folks, you can throw comments here into the chat if you've got something going on, if you want to let me know what you're up to, what you've been playing, what you've been watching, what you've been reading. If you haven't been doing anything, you also don't have to tell me, and that's also okay. Lord Crashes says, I just watched the Hunt for Red October for Next Islanders Watchcast, and I didn't realize that was on the list upcoming. Okay. Cast for that movie is stacked. Yes, there's a ton of great people. The Hunt for Red October has a ridiculous ensemble cast. It is remarkable how many big, notable names are in it. And also, names that were notable at the time. You know, like, it's not like in hindsight where you're like, hey, did you know Maggie Gyllenhaal? One of her first movies was 40 Days and 40 Nights, which absolutely fucking sucks. It is a garbage movie, but Maggie Gyllenhaal's in it. That's fun. Like, no, these were names at the time that were in Hunt for Red October. Lashbrook beat Forbidden Solitaire, which surprisingly enough clocked in at 6 hours. The dev said it would. Really enjoyed my time with it, but kind of wish they had a bit bigger budget to flesh out the meta story outside of the game itself. Probably going to go back and get the last few achievements I haven't. Watched Spy Family Code White, which was fun, but it really stretches credulity when Lloyd is just flying a warplane in front of Yor and then takes down an airship. You have to remember that when needed, Yor is very dumb. I know, I understand. I agree with you. But it is a thing where when they need her to be, Yor can just be very absent-minded and a little stupid when necessary. When plot necessary, she can just be kind of a goof. It's kind of a scatterbrain when needed. And then, yeah, it just happens. And then Lloyd just doesn't, like, Lloyd catches on to some things, but then doesn't really give up that he knows what's up to keep the peace. And to keep the con going. You got to keep the con going. Well, good. I'm glad people are up to some stuff and into some stuff. If anybody else wants to let me know in the chat what you got going on, what you're up to and into. But if you just want to lurk and you don't want to let me know, that's also okay. Lurking is fine. You just want to hang out. You can just hang out. Man, we made some fucking progress here. I would say getting all of this panel line, getting the head done and the arms done, I'm happy with that. I think this kid is looking fucking great. This goddamn big, bulky master grade is looking pretty damn good right now. And then I guess we can do the closed fist version. I mean, the open hands, the movable hands are going to have fingers and could be annoying, but those are the ones we're probably going to use. The spikes in the helmet look cool. Yes, this V-fin is a fantastic looking V-fin. I think it looks so nice. It's real sharp. Also watched the movie this kid is from. Gundam Narrative Gundam. Yeah, Gundam Narrative, I should say. And it really feels like they wanted to do another OVA, but only got to do a movie. But it just did all the plot anyways. There's a lot happening always. And so many callbacks to entirety of the UC, and none of the characters really get fleshed out enough. Yeah, it does feel like a proof of concept that they were like, oh shit, this is not a pilot. This has to be the whole thing. It's been a while since I watched Narrative, but that was my memory of it. I was like, I wish they had more time for this. You know what? I'm going to wait on doing any of these. I'm going to wait on doing any of the hands because they're going to be involved. But so preview of Monday, we will work on hands, both closed fist and open palm hands. And then we'll put the kit together. We already did. We already did. And then we'll work on the feet. We'll jump down to the feet and probably get the feet done and like some of the right leg. It looks like there's some leg stuff we can do at the same time. You can see here. And there's some leg stuff that we have to do like separate. So we'll get into leg day, and we're going to be in leg day for a while because there's going to be a lot of armor on these legs. So we'll probably be doing some leg stuff on Thursday as well. Maybe we can get the waist done on Thursday and get this kit body complete. That would be neat. I want to make sure that the core fighter piece all fits with the lower frame. And then we'll move on to the backpack, which we do once the kit's body complete. And then build the weapons. And all that. And then all the extra parts that this kit needs, because it's got a lot of extra parts we can put on here. Basically, we can put clear parts on this eventually if we wanted to, which I think we probably do. We want to put some cool clear parts because we have all this clear armor that we can put on here if we wanted to, and because we haven't done it yet. Like that's late. That's like a late step is to put the clear armor on the end. If you were like, why is this armor here? And we could skip ahead and do that if we wanted to, but I think it's okay to just do it in the order they suggest. But yeah, there are parts in here that we want to move around and add in at the end. We wanted to, which as I said, we do want to do that. So we'll get into that later. That is a future Pat situation. And then of course the B pack. We haven't even started the B pack yet. That's a ways away. I will say this. That's going to do it for tonight's stream. We are going to end tonight's stream, though, with a raid. That is how we end every stream. We're going to go find somebody doing cool stuff that we want to go hang out with on a Saturday night and see what they're doing. Arthur Geese is playing Diablo 4. I do remember that. I believe Diablo 4 has like some... I haven't even looked at it. I like Diablo 4. Haven't even looked at this stuff here. But yeah, Arthur started about half an hour ago, so should be going for a while. So let's go raid Arthur and check out what's new. I bet there's just so much new in Diablo that it would be overwhelming, but we'll see. We'll go see what's going on with Arthur. I want to thank you for joining me here tonight. I hope you'll come back on Monday for more model kit building and more conversation. I hope that you had fun, and I hope that you'll come hang out with Arthur. Thank you all so much for being here. I will see you on the next stream. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.